All right, folks, huge week. And I mean huge. We're talking Radcliffe writing to the new Harry, HBO already crafting Season 2 while Season 1 is still filming, Rowling finally stepping onto the set, Felton and Isaacs lighting up the Cursed Child Gala, and Goblet of Fire is celebrating its 20th anniversary with some seriously cool events. So stick around, drop a like if you enjoy deep Harry Potter coverage, and let's dive in. Let's kick things off with what might be the most heartfelt moment of the entire reboot so far. Daniel Radcliffe, the guy who embodied Harry Potter for a decade and literally grew up in those robes, took the time to personally write a letter to young Dominic McLaughlin, the new 11-year-old actor cast as Harry for the HBO series. And the way Radcliffe talks about it says a lot about who he is, and how seriously he respects the legacy he helped create. He explained that he just wanted to reach out, because he remembers what it felt like to be a kid stepping into a massive global franchise before he fully understood what he was jumping into. That feeling of excitement mixed with fear, mixed with the sense that your life is about to be completely transformed. Radcliffe didn't try to give Dominic some big life lesson or try to position himself as a mentor. Instead, he just wanted to say, "You're going to have an amazing time, and honestly, I hope you enjoy it even more than I did." That line is incredible, because for Radcliffe, the Harry Potter films were joyful but also pressure-filled. He's said many times that fame at 11 is surreal and overwhelming. So the idea that he wants Dominic to have an even better time than he did shows how genuinely supportive and self-aware he is. And Dominic didn't just read the letter and leave it at that. He wrote back. Radcliffe said the reply was very sweet. Which, coming from a kid who's basically been handed the mantle of one of the most iconic characters in modern pop culture, is adorable. The whole exchange feels symbolic. This isn't just an actor passing the role to a younger performer. It's the old era gently welcoming the new one. Another thing Radcliffe made clear is that he doesn't want to hover over the new cast. He wants them to have their own experience, build their own connection to their characters, and create their own version of this world. And honestly, that's perfect. Fans often talk about legacy pressure when a famous role is recast. But Radcliffe isn't just avoiding overshadowing Dominic. He's actively clearing space for him to shine. And this also sets a strong tone for the reboot. If the original Harry Potter himself is extending his blessing in such a humble, upbeat way, it helps the fan base feel like this isn't a replacement. It's a continuation. Now let's talk about something that completely reshapes how we should think about the future of this series. The announcement from HBO's chief, Casey Bloys, that Season 2 of the Harry Potter series is already being written while Season 1 is still filming. This is one of the strongest commitments we've seen to a long-term vision for the wizarding world on television, and it tells us a lot about the scale and confidence behind this whole reboot. Bloys explained the reasoning in a way that actually makes perfect sense. Because the cast is built around young actors, HBO doesn't want to lose years between seasons the way some huge genre shows do. That kind of delay might work for adult casts, but not when your story literally revolves around characters growing up year by year. Bloys said they're doing everything possible to avoid big gaps, both for the kids' ages and for the fans' patience. He joked about how they won't be finishing Season 1 on a Friday and starting Season 2 on a Monday, but the intention is clear. They want a rhythm, a momentum, something that feels continuous rather than episodic in production. And that's a big deal, because most shows wait to see how Season 1 performs before fully committing to a second season. But here, they're building Season 2 scripts right now, before we've even seen a teaser trailer for Season 1. That's how confident they are in the foundation of the project. It also proves they're not making this reboot in a hesitant, exploratory way. They're treating it as a massive, multi-season prestige commitment from day one. Bloys also emphasized that while this is a huge, effects-heavy, logistically complex series, with giant sets, magical visual effects, creature work, and the whole Hogwarts environment, they aren't planning to use the scale as an excuse for delays. They know how vital pacing is for a story like this. The entire books-as-season structure depends on the audience feeling the characters age naturally from one year to the next, not jumping from 12-year-old Harry to 14-year-old Harry because production spent a year rebuilding a hallway. During the same event, Blois also had to address the elephant in the room, the potential sale of Warner Bros. Discovery. But his response was surprisingly calm. He basically said that the only thing the team can control is the work itself, delivering the strongest, most impactful programming possible. The sale process could take a year or more, and the creative teams aren't letting that uncertainty distract them. It was actually reassuring to hear him say he's proud of HBO's track record and confident in the future of the brand regardless of corporate shifts. The success of one of their recent series, The Pit, is being used as an internal example of how great high-quality programming can become event television that audiences follow week after week. HBO wants series that build habits. Potter is perfect for that. Blois even referenced the idea of 52 weeks of new programming a year, which suggests that Warner Bros. Is imagining a schedule where Potter becomes a traditional anchor of their annual lineup. All of this paints a picture of a studio that isn't just making a Harry Potter reboot. They're constructing a long-term engine around it. They want continuity, yearly returns, narrative cohesiveness, and a steady creative pipeline. This is a decade-long plan, and they're treating it like one. Now we move on to one of the biggest behind-the-scenes moments of the entire production so far. J.K. Rowling visiting the set for the very first time. We've known for a while that Rowling has been involved as an executive producer, reviewing scripts, shaping the broad narrative choices, and giving feedback. But this is the first time she's physically stepped onto the set. And from everything we're hearing, it was a fascinating moment for everyone involved. Imagine being a writer or a production designer who has spent months bringing the world of Hogwarts to life. And then, the creator of that world walks onto the set for the first time. That's not pressure. That's a full-circle moment. Reports say Rowling toured several active sets at Warner Bros. Studios Leavesden, the same studio where the original films were shot. So for her, it wasn't just a meeting. It was a return to the birthplace of the cinematic Potter universe. She met with directors, showrunners, the production designer, the costume team, and even some of the young cast members. And according to those on set, she was warm, enthusiastic, and deeply curious about how the team is adapting the world she wrote 2 decades ago. What stood out the most was how collaborative she was. Rowling wasn't just inspecting the sets from afar. She was engaged, asking about narrative choices, listening to creative ideas, and offering context about moments from the books that the show is exploring more deeply. This is the first adaptation that really has the chance to expand the books instead of condensing them, so her presence is incredibly valuable. She can explain motivations, backstories, or world-building details that aren't explicitly stated on the page but exist in her original notes. Producers have talked about how she's been working closely with the writing team since development began, helping them map out the arcs for the early seasons. And seeing her physically present reinforces the idea that this series is trying to get things right, to be faithful, respectful, and fully rooted in the source material. How important is Rowling's creative involvement to you? Are you glad she's visiting the set and giving input? Tell me your take. Now let's get into the Cursed Child Gala, which not only highlighted the ongoing success of the stage play, but also brought back some beloved faces from the Potter universe, including Tom Felton and Jason Isaacs. The Malfoys continue to be one of the most iconic, complex family duos in the franchise, and their presence added a ton of weight and nostalgia to the evening. Tom Felton especially has been very active in supporting Wizarding World events. He's become almost an ambassador for the franchise. Warm, approachable, always game for interviews, and deeply connected to fans. The man clearly loves being part of this universe. Jason Isaacs, meanwhile, brings a whole different energy. Charismatic, theatrical, and deeply supportive of the fandom. When those two show up together, it sends a message. This story still matters to the people who helped build its legacy. This event was more than just a red carpet moment. It was a celebration of the play's insane achievements and its cultural longevity. A quick reminder of the numbers. Because the numbers are wild. Over $2 billion in global revenue. More than 6 million tickets sold. Top-grossing play in West End history. One of the highest-grossing non-musical shows in Broadway history. Sold-out runs across London, New York, Hamburg, Melbourne, and more. The Gala wasn't just a victory lap. It was a statement about how The Cursed Child continues to be a financial juggernaut almost a decade after its premiere. Most plays decline over time. This one somehow keeps thriving. The Gala also included discussions about the play's future. Warner Brothers executives were in attendance, and while no official announcements were made, industry chatter suggests that the studio is keeping a very close eye on how Cursed Child might eventually fold into the larger Wizarding World strategy. Especially with the HBO reboot on the horizon, the timing is interesting. While a screen adaptation of Cursed Child isn't confirmed, or even hinted at officially, the financial success of the play keeps that door open. Very open. The event also highlighted how the Wizarding World can exist across multiple mediums: books, films, TV, theme parks, games, and live theater, all feeding into the same ecosystem. And with big names like Felton and Isaacs showing up, the Gala had the perfect blend of prestige, nostalgia, and spectacle. Would you want to see Felton or Isaacs appear in some capacity in the HBO series? Maybe as cameos, professors, or original characters? Drop your casting ideas in the comments. And now, let's end with something nostalgic, something exciting, and honestly something that hits emotionally for so many fans. The 20th anniversary of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. It's wild to think that 2 full decades have passed since the movie came out. Because Goblet isn't just another film in the series. It's the moment the franchise grew up. It's the point where the story shifted from whimsical childhood adventure to something darker, bigger, and more dangerous. It's the film that brought the Triwizard Tournament to life, introduced a whole new roster of iconic characters, and delivered one of the most haunting endings in the entire saga. Ask any fan to name the first truly intense Potter movie, and Goblet is usually the answer. Now Warner Brothers is treating this anniversary with the scale and love it deserves. The studio is rolling out an international celebration that goes far beyond a simple re-release. At the heart of it all is a global theatrical return of the film, beautifully remastered, giving fans a chance to experience the Triwizard Tournament on the big screen again. For a lot of people, this will be their first time seeing Goblet in a cinema, because many younger fans discovered the film through streaming or DVDs. There's something genuinely special about hearing the roar of the crowd during the first task, or seeing the Yule Ball in a full theater with surround sound. It's not nostalgia. It's rediscovery. But the anniversary isn't just about screenings. It's also tied to the annual Back to Hogwarts Global Fan Celebration, which means events, themed nights, screenings with commentary, Q&A sessions, trivia exhibitions, and even pop-up experiences in certain cities. Fans get an entire month of activities dedicated to reliving one of the most iconic periods of the franchise. The Warner Brothers studio tour in London is doing something even cooler. They've created a specialized Triwizard feature that allows fans to walk through new displays, props, behind-the-scenes effects, and reconstructed sets tied specifically to Goblet of Fire. Imagine stepping up to the goblet itself, or revisiting the maze environment, or seeing early Voldemort transformation prosthetics up close. It's the kind of immersive deep dive that reminds fans why the films were so magical in the first place. And the anniversary also reminds the world just how massive Goblet of Fire was financially. When it first released, it pulled in around $897.5 million at the global box office. A staggering number for a fantasy film in 2005. It proved beyond any doubt that Harry Potter wasn't just a successful adaptation. It was a global cultural phenomenon. The box office success of Goblet set the tone for every subsequent movie and showed Warner Brothers how big the franchise could become. What's beautiful about this anniversary is that it doesn't feel cynical or commercial. It feels like a celebration. A moment where fans of all ages get to revisit the chapter where everything changed, where Harry's world widened, darkened, and matured. The Triwizard Tournament, the arrival of foreign wizarding schools, The Yule Ball, the graveyard. Every part of Goblet carries emotional weight and unforgettable imagery. Seeing Warner Bros. Embrace that legacy and bring it back into theaters and tie it into fan events around the world is a reminder of why this franchise continues to endure decade after decade. There's always another generation discovering it, always another fan experiencing those moments for the first time. And Goblet's anniversary captures that magic better than almost anything. If you could only attend one Goblet of Fire anniversary event, the theatrical re-release, the studio tour Triwizard feature, or the fan celebrations, which one would you choose? Tell me in the comments because I'm genuinely curious which experience fans are gravitating toward. Alright, that wraps up everything for this week. Radcliffe's message to Dominic, HBO already building Season 2, Rowling visiting the set, The Cursed Child Gala, and Goblet of Fire celebrating 20 years. It really feels like a new era of the wizarding world is taking shape right in front of us. If you enjoyed this breakdown, hit like. It helps the video reach more Potter fans. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next wave of leaks, casting news, and on-set reports, because they're coming fast. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next update. Peace.